Welcome back, guys. Edward Tomaloso, Hook to Cook, and this is an FG knot. We'll go over all the specifications on how to make this knot and the complete setup that we use to catch fish on the surf. So really quick, let's answer the question, why is it important to have an FG knot and know this skill? What are the advantages? The advantages compared to throwing just straight braid is you do get the opportunity to have a more subtle presentation. When your lure is swimming through the water, this leader basically becomes invisible to the fish, as opposed to braid. Some fish can be line shy, so this allows you to be more subtle with your presentation. Another advantage is when you're using heavier line. This one is 25-pound Sunline FC Sniper line, and what's nice about it is it's not very limp. It's got some resistance to it, which prevents the lure a lot of times from coming up and foul hooking the line. So when you bring in your retrieve, sometimes the waves cause the lure to slap back on your line and create this whole thing. So that's another advantage to the FG knot. Another advantage is if you absolutely do need to cut when you're on the field, it's a whole heck of a lot easier than cutting the braid. But there's a few other things that you can come up with, but let's just go ahead and jump right into the main reason. Is some people like a long distance between their leader and their rod tip when they're making their cast. So this allows you to adjust that on the fly, because the joint actually slides through the guides really easy. And a lot of people have been asking how we do this, how we tie the FG knot specifically for the surf, and hopefully this video helps. This is a variation, if not the exact way that Briggsy does it, but since we get the question a lot, it's very nice to be able to send a video of this exact application using the exact setup and system that we're using. To get started, here's what you're gonna need. Of course, you need your reel, your rod. You're gonna need some of your favorite leader material. This is my favorite. It's fluorocarbon Super FC Sniper by Sunline. It's in 25-pound test. The line on the reel is 30-pound test by Major Craft. You do need clippers or scissors. Also need a lighter and a good pair of gardening or working gloves. So let's start by cutting off the old FG knot that was currently on this setup. And one of the things that is very advantageous to the FG knot is it gives you the ability to place your knot exactly where you want it, and it's best to put it right in between your first and second guide, and it's always here when you make a cast. So it just adds one more layer of repetition to your casting and the way that you operate when you're out on the surf. It makes it that much more dependable. So that's what you're gonna wanna do, is put it right in between these guides. But the reason I'm showing you that is now I know exactly where I want to cut, because whenever I know my knot is up here, my finger is always right here when I am making that cast. So oftentimes this is getting touched over and over and over and over with every single cast. So this part tends to get frayed quite a bit. So that's where we're going to go ahead and cut this line to start our new FG knot. And then anytime you're gonna do a new FG knot, that's where you're going to want to cut it, so you'll be able to have a fresh new start, and you know that none of your line is compromised at all. So that's a major key. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this. Next, you're gonna want to prop your rod up against something stable so that you can apply tension to the string. Now that we have our rod secure and we have our line, we're gonna go ahead and put that line in our mouth, and we're gonna bite down, just like that. And you're gonna pull it tight and keep constant tension. Take your leader line, leave it on the spool, because we will cut that later to be exact. All right, so we have our leader line on the ground, and we have our tag in our left hand.
And we're gonna go ahead and start the FG part. So you're gonna take tag end, place it on your tight line, and we're gonna start with our wraps. You're gonna take the tag end, go under the front side, under, and then tighten it, just like that. And then next, you're gonna take it, you're gonna go towards you, under this way, and then you're gonna pull tight again. And then you're always wanting to make sure that your wraps are going that way and not laying on top of each other. You can go back under the front where we started and pull tight. Go towards you and pull tight. Okay. And we're going to do this up to 20 times. So that was 3. Actually, that was 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. So that's how it should look right there. Just like that. Okay? Next, you pinch it tight, and you'll just go ahead and take the tag end that was in your mouth, lay it over all of it. So now you're left with this. This is your main FG knot right there. And then now you can actually loosen it. You don't need the tension anymore. So now I got this lip side, I got the tag end of the leader right there, got our FG knot right here, all laid out, and our tag end of the braid is hanging over. What we're gonna do now is called the Rizzuto finish. So we're going to go ahead and pull your tag end of your leader and your mainline braid. So now we have the tag end that was in your mouth, you have the tag end of your leader, and this goes to your rod. And then, so you're going to take your tag end that was once again in your mouth, you'll create a loop just like that, and you'll wrap it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're going to take that tag end and you're going to lay it right over your FG knot. Just like that. Okay? So see what we did? We created that loop and we went around both. Now we're basically going to undo that loop, and what that's going to do is it's going to wrap itself around your tag end and the tag end of your leader. So 1, so you'll start to see it get undone, those wraps that we just did. 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're done. So see, now we'll just cinch that down. There's our tag end that was in our mouth earlier, and as you pull, you're gonna see that start to crimp down all the way to your FG knot right there. Tightens nice and tight, so you give that a nice pull, and we're almost done. So next, what you're gonna wanna do is put on your gloves, because we're gonna want to pull this down really tight. So with your gloves, you're gonna wanna wrap it, and you don't wanna wrap it over itself. So I'll just wrap it a couple times around my fingers. And then you're gonna grab your leader end too. Wrap it around a few fingers with the gloves on. You could also use a dowel, but now you just give it a really nice firm pull. Okay. And then you can actually pull on this tag end to tighten down that knot finisher. Just like that. And then you'll pull on both lines. And eventually what you're gonna end up seeing is the braided line that's wrapped around the leader line starts to change color, gets really dark. So that's what we're doing. Pull really tight. Don't underestimate this part of the step. If you don't do this step, everything could unravel. It really locks it all down. So once you give it a good pull, that's what it should look like. Main line, tag end, and there's your FG knot with the Rizzuto finish. To finish off that last knot, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a loop knot really close to the finishing knot, just so that we can make sure our knot doesn't get undone and loosen up everything that we worked on. Takes a little bit of practice, but when you can get it done right, you'll have that little knot right at the finisher, right there. So now it's just time to clean it up. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off that braid tag end right there, just like that. And then now we're gonna cut off the rest of the tag end of our leader, pretty close to the knot, but we'll leave about 1/8 of an inch. And really quick, the beauty of the way that we finish this knot is the more that it pulls, the tighter it gets. And then the way that we finished it, it'll get tight towards our FG knot and it won't loosen up over time. Next, we're gonna go ahead and grab our lighter. We're gonna spit on our fingers to get them wet, and just to protect that knot. And we're gonna go ahead and burn away that fuzz. Just like that. And then we're gonna turn it around. Again, our fingers are wet. We're gonna protect the knot, but we're gonna go ahead and remove all and any sharpness that's on that leader tag right there. And we're gonna wanna do it until you can feel there's no more sharpness. There you go. So we just made that nice and bulbous, and there you have it. Finished FG knot, slides through the guides, really strong. 20 wraps. Never had an issue with it. Unless I got lazy and I skipped the step of pulling tight, really cinching it down. That does really well for surf fishing, and it's a good connection for our 110 jerk baits. And then one last thing. Remember when we were tying that FG knot, we were tying the leader while it was still on the spool. The reason why is you can choose exactly how much line you want on your leader in terms of length. So here's what you do. You just reel in until that FG knot comes right in between your first and second guides. Exactly right there. That's where you want it. Now you can cut the exact length that you want off the tip of your rod
however much you want when you make your cast. I usually like about between 2 to 3 feet on my cast. So that's definitely something that's been working for us. And then one last tip is these are tactical angler power clips. These allow you to swap out lures and not have to cut and retie and shorten that leader that you just worked so hard to make. So we'll go ahead and tie one of those on just to show you how it works. But this allows you to swap lures effortlessly without having to retie. So we'll tie this on. Always moisten your knot so that it slips very well before cinching it down. That's what it looks like right there. And on all of our plugs, we remove the stock split ring that comes with them. That way you can just take the tactical angler clip and you can just slip it on just like that. These ones happen to be 50-pound tactical angler clips. They're not too big to where they overpower the bait, and it moves freely with the wobble of the bait as well, if you can see that. Anything bigger than that, it does get pretty heavy, but I think 50-pound or 25-pound is the sweet spot on these lures. But hopefully that helped you guys. At the time of filming this video, the coronavirus is just ramping up here in the States. So hope you guys are not impacted by that. And if you're watching this in the future, hopefully none of the people that you know and love were affected by this terrible virus. But again, hopefully this video helped you out, helped you try your own FG knots. Make sure that you follow those steps and should be pretty good for you. We'll catch you guys later. Stay tuned for more. If this helped you out, give us a subscribe and like up this video. We'll catch you on the next one.